Our channel Reddit Stories extends a warm welcome to you. I'd want to share my relationship story with you all. I'm 40 years old male and my wife Kim is 41 years old female. We had been married for 10 years and had 2 children. I am a tech recruiter, and Kim never focused on her profession. She worked as a freelance model whenever she felt like it, and she never had a job that was stable. Kim is so stunning and people always compliment her wherever we go. When we went to the pub one night, the waiter didn't charge Kim for the drink because he felt it was wrong to take money from such a gorgeous woman. Kim had started taking advantage of the special attention she was receiving as a model, and because she is attractive, she would request freebies from various restaurants and shops. Kim started telling people she was single in order to obtain free products. She would never introduce me or our children to her employees, claiming she received more benefits when people assumed she was single. One day one of her co-workers arrived to take her up from our house while Kim was getting dressed and I was cleaning my car outside, when the car came to a stop in front of our house. A guy and a lady got out and inquired if Kim lived there, and I responded yes. A few minutes later Kim walked outside and introduced me to them as her brother. When I confronted her about calling me her brother later that evening, she claimed it was all an act and that she preferred to act single to land more modeling jobs. I was in my office one day when I received an emergency phone from Kim. She told me that her styling director and other employees were coming to our house for a dinner and that I needed to take our children out of our house since the children couldn't come in front of them. She instructed me to remain outside with the kids till midnight because she hadn't revealed to them she was married. It was difficult for me to leave work and stay outside with the kids till midnight, so I argued with her. To which she replied that other men would be happy of having a model wife and how narrow-minded I was. She shouted at me and then persuaded me to do what she wanted me to do. I didn't want to dispute. I returned home early to take our children with me, and I was astounded to see how Kim had removed our portraits, kids' toys and clothes from the house, making our flat look like a bachelor's flat. I wasn't interested in a debate, so I took my kids outside and took them to the park, then to McDonald's. And then we waited 2 hours in my car. Kids were crying to go home, but we weren't permitted to be home because Kim was having a dinner party with her employees. We remained waiting outside in our cars until midnight, and Kim's guests were still there. I contacted Kim about 12:30 a.m. to see if we could come, but she said that her guests were still there and I needed to wait another hour. I said okay, but 15 minutes later, our kid Storm wanted to use the bathroom. And he began crying and I was unable to handle it, so I drove home. When we entered, Kim was shocked to see us home. Her 5 co-workers were smoking and dancing in our lounge and Kim called me her brother again in front of her co-workers. But when our son Storm called Kim mommy, she had no way of hiding the reality. She had to face huge embarrassment for lying so bluntly and she lost her modeling contract. Her coworkers told her she didn't have to lie about anything, but they couldn't trust her anymore. So I have no regrets about returning home early that night and how Kim had to lose her contract as a result of it. I tried to encourage her, but she refused to consider us her family in front of others. We had a quarrel after that incident, but Kim ultimately got over it and even apologized to me. Things had started to return to normal because Kim was not getting many modeling projects, so she had started paying more attention to our kids, house, and me. We were happy as a family since I was earning enough to support our family and I had always desired a normal family life, but Kim's modeling career had always caused turmoil in our lives, so when she quit doing it, we were relieved. I had started paying more attention to my work because Kim was there for the kids. As the family's sole breadwinner, I took on another part-time job to boost our income. My new boss Reynolds had been extremely kind with me because he knew I was working very hard despite having 2 jobs. He would take me to lunch or out for a drink to talk about work. And as we became friends, he invited me and my family to his birthday party. My wife, Kim, thought it wouldn't be appropriate to bring children to the birthday party. So we hired a nanny to babysit while Kim and I attended the party. Reynolds's wife Sarah was so educated and grounded, and she was wearing a basic outfit whereas Kim was dressed so glamorously. Despite their wealth and the spectacular theme of the occasion, Sarah was dressed simply. Kim introduced herself to Reynolds and his wife as a top model, lied about her age, and explained how she got married so young, otherwise she would have been more successful in the modeling industry. Reynolds and other guests continued complimenting Kim's beauty and continually telling me how lucky I was. Kim was being really candid with Reynolds, and they both went to the balcony alone to take a smoke break. All of this made me feel so uneasy that I regretted bringing Kim to the party with me. I excused them and we headed home before Kim went into her wild party mode. A few days later, Kim and I were discussing moving to a bigger house, and I mentioned that we would need to save a lot of money for it, to which Kim replied that she would contribute as well. I was surprised when she said she would contribute because she didn't have a work or savings, and when I confronted her about it, she said she'd probably get some modeling gigs. Reynolds had grown reserved with me at work. He had stopped taking me to lunch, and if I offered, he said he had meetings to attend, and gradually he had halted all interactions with me. But I didn't pay much attention to him. One Thursday, my son's school results were due, so I arrived home early. After coming back from the school event, Kim and the kids had gone to take naps while I was watching television when the doorbell rang. It was a delivery man carrying a bouquet of flowers, designer luxury items, and a cake. I initially believed he had come to the wrong home, but the note indicated it was for Kim, but the sender's name was not included in the card. I received it and then informed Kim. She tried to conceal it by claiming that it was delivered on the wrong day, and claimed it was from her cousin. I became suspicious because Kim was not in contact with any of her cousins, and none of her cousins was wealthy enough to send her Gucci or Chanel gifts, but I couldn't say that, so I just ignored it. After a couple days, Kim informed me that she needed to go to her friend's bachelorette party and that I needed to remain with the kids for the weekend. I was fine with this because I normally despised going to her friends' parties, but I was astonished to see Kim wear that Chanel outfit she received in the mail a few days ago. She donned dark gothic makeup with maroon lipstick. Her clothing and makeup were too heavy even for Kim. I told her she looked lovely because I didn't want to shake her confidence. Kim hadn't been to a party in months, and since she was so wonderful to me and my kids, she was taking care of the house so efficiently, I wanted her to spend some time with her friends. When Kim was gone, I was playing hide and seek with my children, and my son Storm went to the closet to hide. He was hiding in the lower area of the closet, which we don't generally check.
When I went to locate him, he was playing with dollar notes he discovered in the closet. When I asked him where he obtained the money, he answered it was in the closet. He showed me the bag. I was surprised to find a large bag full of money. That money didn't belong to me, and Kim didn't have a job or any other source of income, so where did it come from? I waited for Kim that night, but she didn't return until after 2 a.m. When she came back and when I asked her about the bag of money, she claimed she wasn't in the mood to talk about it. And when I persisted, she began yelling and went to sleep. The next day, she informed me she won the money in a lottery. I was not satisfied with her response, so I inquired about the lottery number, the recipients and other details. She said that she was joking and that the money belonged to her friend, and she was simply keeping it safe. None of her answers satisfied me. But I stopped asking her because I didn't want to hear any more lies. Instead, I decided to keep an eye on her because I was afraid she could lead us into trouble. I had no idea what she was doing, but I was scared it might be illegal. In order to ensure the security of our home and the children, I placed a hidden camera without telling Kim about it. I did so when she was out grocery shopping with the kids, and only I had access to watch it. The following week, I looked at the video the camera had captured, and it revealed that Kim continued to receive flower bouquets almost every day. And every day Kim would get ready and leave for somewhere, which made me suspicious. I started to quiz Kim about her routine, and she frankly said that she spent the entire day at home. And when she questioned why I was inquiring about her daily routine, I had to provide an explanation and explain that my Amazon package was on its way so she might receive it since she stayed at home. She said why not. 2 days later I received an early off and chose to go home. I didn't inform Kim because I knew she wouldn't be home and I would finally ask her where she was going on a daily basis, but when I got home, I heard noises coming from our house. So I opened the door with my spare keys and went inside. No one was in the living room. I checked the kids' room and they were so engaged in their toys that they didn't notice me, so I walked to our bedroom and was surprised to hear laughter coming from our room because Kim assumed that my parcel was on its way, so instead of leaving the house, she called her AP to our place. I opened the door and was surprised to see Kim and my boss Reynolds, both of whom turned pale when they saw me. They had not expected me at all. I was so enraged by what had happened that I punched Reynolds. He kept muttering that he was my boss and that I couldn't insult him like that, so I punched him again. And I warned him I'd break his marriage by telling his wife, and he laughed and said, "My wife would never believe you," and she trusted him enough. He had no idea I had a hidden camera in my house. But I didn't tell him, so I pretended to be helpless in front of him. I slapped Kim and threw them both out of my house. Then I examined my camera's monitor and was relieved to see that it had filmed everything. I dug around on the internet and our office portal and discovered a number of Reynolds' wife. I told her everything and sent her all of the videotapes. She was enraged when she saw all of the evidence, stated she had been noticing a change in Reynolds' behavior. It turned out she owned all of the businesses in their homes. She was the daughter of a wealthy lawyer, and Reynolds was simply looking after the business for her, but he didn't own anything, and when her wife found out about his betrayal, she immediately left him and filed for divorce. Update. I also filed for divorce because I didn't want to be with a woman I couldn't trust in my life. Kim confessed about her affair thinking Reynolds would back her, but she was unaware that Reynolds was nothing without her wife. So he demanded that Kim return his money which Kim had taken from him as a gift. He is suing Kim for the money I discovered in our closet. Reynolds' wife Sarah thanked me for revealing to her the true face of Reynolds, and now that we regularly meet, she has grown to be a close friend of mine. She is so decent and the complete opposite of Kim, and since both of us had experienced betrayal in our marriages, we are able to better understand one another's circumstances and take things slowly with our relationship building. I obtained custody of my children because Kim does not have a suitable job or means to provide for the children, and Sarah's parents assisted me in this matter, telling me to provide proof of her cheating so that I would not have to pay alimony. Kim has been staying with a friend since she doesn't have any family and she broke her own home. She keeps phoning me to plead for forgiveness and tells me that our children need both parents. She tells me that what she did was not a big issue and that our children should not be punished as a result of it, though I don't want her in my life. I occasionally second-guess my decision to divorce her after seeing my children. Should I forgive Kim? Would my kids be okay without their mom if I divorced Kim and moved forward with Sarah? Please advise whether I should proceed with the divorce. Thank you for listening to my story. Don't forget to leave a comment as well. Please like this video and hit the subscribe button. Stay awesome.